what I find in this industry is that as you start to manage people, you're doing less and less of the stuff that people want to do when they get into this industry. Like you
Mhm.
become more of a coach and less of a player. Was that hard for you to adapt to?
I don't know that it was hard. I think one of the things that we haven't talked about is I had some really terrible managers
Okay.
at some of these jobs, which is partly why I left some of them. And I think as I became a manager, my goal was to not be these awful people and really taking the time to recognize what it was that was awful about some of the managers I had. So my approach has always been trying to be the opposite of the bosses I had. And one of the things that I've always done as a manager, um, and if any of the people I've managed are listening, they'll can tell you if this is true or not. My thing has always been, I'm going to tell you everything I can, and if you burn me and you
Mm,
make something out of what I've told you, it will stop. But until as long as it is safe for me to tell you stuff, I will tell you as much as I possibly can so you understand why decisions are being made, what's happening around you. And I think that has always engendered for me a lot of trust on my teams. Is they're like, "Oh, Jen's got us. She knows what's going on. She's making these decisions for a reason."
I
So
know
I
what you're
think
saying.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like being that unfiltered. You're giving them unfiltered
yeah,
context into what's going on. Because sometimes people sound too much like a business textbook in our industry.
yeah,
And you're just like, I
yeah.
don't even know what that means.
And there's also so many people that have think that information is power and they wanna use it against people as opposed
Hmm.
to with people. And I've seen it
Yes.
so many times and it was like, information's information, it's what you do with it. But if you try to manipulate, use it for your advantage, that's when it gets really icky.
Do you have any, okay, so staying on this topic, do you have any managers, don't have to call them out, but if you've got any examples of someone while you were working with them, you thought maybe they were a little too rough around the edges, but then as you started to, distance yourself from that job and that manager and you moved up and moved places, in hindsight, you started to realize with a bit of empathy why they were the way they were, and maybe you had a bit more appreciation for them.
I don't have anyone in particular. I think over time I've understood more the fear that comes once you get more senior, like the and I think today this is true of any level, but I think his in my career, which has been 29 years in advertising, was the more senior you got, it was almost less security that you had. So I
Yeah.
think people used information to sort of protect themselves in a way. Um, so I can understand it more. I don't have to like it, but I can understand a little bit more about some of that fear or some of the managers I had that were on temp contracts. So they wanted to make
Mm.
themselves more valuable to keep those contracts. But in doing so, they made everyone else around them miserable.